Greetings, everybody. This is Renee, the Leopard, and welcome to the Leopard Society. This is my introductory video, and I could have did it in my stuffy old apartment, but I decided to come out into nature and to, just ramble a little bit. Maybe see a animal or two. Got a lot of feathers on the ground. I don't know what kind of bird gang war just occurred. But this is a discussion on what the Leopard Society is. Not even a discussion, more just a little speech. Look at this little cute feather. I'm taking it. Look at that, y'all. Can y'all see my feather? So, didn't know what occurred here, but take it as some kind of sign, sure. So, what is the Leopard Society? The Leopard Society is not my idea. It is an idea far, far, far older than me. I came up with nothing. I am just taking my part of the knowledge, right? Knowledge is free, knowledge is for everybody. It's just based on how one uses it, right? In my conception of the Leopard Society, it is probably one of the oldest organizations based on knowledge around universal wisdom, right? The perennial philosophy of, attempting to gain immortality through work, internal work, right? Teaching that the universe is not, simply material. It's not simply your body. And that you are the universe. The you that you are. Right? In terms of my mission for this YouTube channel and for any other channels and platforms that I may use in the future, I see the Leopard Society name as just an outlet for me to go about my study, right, for this knowledge and understanding, and ultimately, share what I learned. This is an outlet for me, like at the end of a long day work. All I want to do is come home and just think about, contemplate on reality. Man, some bird really got plucked out here. So yeah, I'm going to be bringing on speakers, bringing on guests. Like, I love thinking, but I don't necessarily like to hear myself speak. I love hearing the thoughts of others, right? And, I'm also writing a book called The Leopard Society. I don't know if you see all these fish. They're glorious. Writing a book called The Leopard Society, just like the name of this little podcast, radio show, what have you. And it's going to be full of information that I've found over my years and years of study. And hopefully I can bring some of the living authors that I drew inspiration from to the show. And, we can get a little bit more understanding on their thought processes. I hope to bring practitioners from the spiritual traditions that we talk about, bring those people on the show. I'm interested in developing, the primary source documentation as well as the secondary source documentation. So many times we have people who become experts in this, experts in that, and the people who actually live the tradition, they are not given the credit that is due to them. You know, sometimes there's a language barrier. For instance, I do not know Haitian Creole, but that doesn't stop me from finding a person who knows both Haitian Creole, is Haitian, and knows English, right? Um, and I don't think people who claim to be experts, like besides the little work that they did to become experts, probably talking to their one mentor, they don't really do the work of bringing that mentor to the public, right? That mentor may not have that PhD, right? May not be able to put their thoughts into clear and concise words. But that doesn't mean that that mentor should not gain the recognition that the person they taught gains from the work of just listening, right? It makes me think of the conversations with Ogo Tameli, right? The author, Griot, he was decent enough to say that, hey, all I'm doing is sitting down and listening to this old doggone sage speak, right? And all I'm doing is writing down what he says. But, you know, he had many other books, The Pale Fox, where he quoted nobody, right? So it's like, hey, where did you get this information from, man? Right? Maybe one day I want to talk to the same person you spoke to. Like if Ogo Tameli was alive today, I would definitely try to do my best to hit him up. You know, try to get a translator, right? Somebody translated for Griot. Would they not translate for me so we can get more knowledge, more understanding? I can ask my clarifying questions, right? So we have to quote our sources and I hope to bring my sources on both, you know, researchers and practitioners onto the stage. And yeah, everybody just share what we have learned together. I'm still just looking. I'm flabbergasted all these feathers on the ground. Somebody tell me if y'all understand what's going on with these feathers. Like, what kind of feather are these? And what happened to this bird? This bird got effed up, y'all. Just found another big feather. I'm keeping these. This was mint. I was like really pondering, bug. I was really pondering like, hey, maybe I'll stay home and do this video. But I'm like, man, I've been in the house for a minute, you know, COVID and everything. Let me go on outside and see some nature. And nature I am seeing. So yeah, I'm gonna keep these feathers. And what's great is I kind of needed, I didn't need feathers, but I needed something to represent, you know, air, what, something, you know, new agey and woo-woo, something that represents, you know, obviously we have all this water, we're on the earth, we breathe air, we've got the internal fire, I love fire, but in terms of the symbol, didn't have that, so I have a whole slew of feathers now. I don't know, I'm gonna get the nicer ones. But in terms of the, oh, look at that. Let's talk about this nature real quick. Look at that sun reflecting off the water, y'all. I came out into nature for another reason, because this is what Africa used, the whole of Africa. I know people are going to say Africa's not a monolith. I agree. But some things are transnational, transcultural. Some things go beyond ethnicity and so-called tribe. When I write my book, I'm going to have a good old day talking about the idea that tribes in Africa did not exist before colonization. But that's neither here or there. This is the way that Africa, this nature, is the way that Africa perceived the universe, right? And if you look at the water specifically is a portal to another world, right? Some call it the spiritual world. Just some people can just call it another dimension, right? When you look at this water, you see all the fish inside representing, oh man, it's a big one, representing spirit. I don't even know if y'all saw that. Then you have the reflective aspect of the water, right? Water, when it's calm, reflects the calmness of the master's soul, right? The spiritual master coming out into the world, coming out into nature, coming out into silence, contemplation, meditation. It's supposed to be calming these waters to both reflect the truth and to reflect what is being shown to you, right? So we have the waters and we have the trees. Obviously, the trees are being reflected off the water, right? You know, you have that old as above, so below motif. I came here at night with my parents months ago, and it was a blazing sky, right? A blazing bright sky. It was beautiful. And you saw the stars and the moon so clearly off the water. It was crazy. And I understood so much just from that one little moment about what our ancestors were saying about nature, right? You have the trees, which, if you understand, I'm going to explain it in my book. The tree is a symbol of fire, right? I don't know if too many people, Western, Eurocentric people, people who were trained in this so-called modernity. If you understand that the tree is seen as a dry symbol that needs water, right? Everything on earth, on top of the earth, is a dry symbol of heaven, which is water, right? The water below and the water above are the same water. To go into the waters below, you are going to end up in the waters above in heaven, right? Go into the water, you become like the fish. Look at all these fish. This is glorious. And all of us dry folks up here, thirsty, right? We thirsty for the spirit. That includes us human beings. That includes the animals. That includes the trees. Oh, here's a good example, a good analog for my tarot people. You got the cup, which is water. You have the sword, which is air. You have the pentacle, which is earth. And you have the stick, the club, the wand. What is that? That's fire, right? The stick is what's representing fire. So that's cool. That's a good little analogy I just thought of. I'm looking at this hole right here. I don't know if you see. Yep, you see the hole now. I was wondering if there's going to be a snake in there. Don't know why I walked to it thinking that there's going to be a snake. But yeah, I don't spend too much time in nature, y'all. This is not my usual thing, right? Because you don't necessarily have to and be a spiritualist. I definitely want to more in order to understand what the African tradition is trying to tell us. But the goal of understanding nature is really to understand itself, right? Africans who live the traditional life, they saw nature as aspects of the self. Nature is, as we see right here, I'm standing on it, it's physical. But the true knowledge of understanding this natural phenomenon that we call life is understanding the spiritual phenomenon that it represents, right? All of these physical bodies are outer shells, outer symbols. You yourself are a symbol. And, we are all, something greater than what our physical body portrays. And Africa portrayed these things as pieces of nature, And they describe the spiritual aspirant as the hunter in nature. Okay? So all of this is just to further give you understanding, first of all, on my spiritual understanding, but it also tells you the mission and the goal of the Leopard Society, right? We're trying to understand the spirit, and not in just the simple woo-woo new age type of ideal, right? Where everything is beautiful, everything is harmonious. Everything is harmonious today. It's glorious out here. But, you know, the hunter is a killer, right? The hunter will not hesitate to destroy in order to gain nourishment. Can y'all hear that noise? I have no clue what it is because I am not a nature person. And oh yeah, this is a little ASMR. I hope I said that right for people between my loudness, which is not supposed to be in nature, right? You're supposed to be silent, but you hear the bugs, you hear the little animals are croaking. I don't know, whatever tingles folks be getting from that, maybe y'all are liking it. Let me walk to this little bug noise over here. Yeah, I forgot my train of thought, but this isn't a train of thought. This isn't an idea of an actual talk. This is me rambling. Look, you hear all that, y'all? Somebody identify some of these bugs and fish and these feathers. These feathers. These flowers. Look at these flowers. Yeah. Oh man, they smell good. Oh, y'all can't smell that though. Can't witness it. That's nice. But yeah, the hunter, that's what I was talking about. The hunter is not the sweet being, right? It's somebody who is a little bit ruthless, because they have to be, because they live in this world of chaos, right? They live in the woods, right? One day you walking on a path, just enjoying your day, picking fruits and berries. The next day, you know, you gotta watch out for the leopard. And yeah, that's what I should do. I should make sure to explain what the leopard is. So the leopard, once again, is the thing you have to watch out for. It is the master of this space right here. This duality between dryness and the liquid, right? Understanding that every duality is actually one, right? So the leopard, for the most part, is like hyper dry in its depictions in African art and symbol. But like everything in Africa, the first thing you see isn't necessarily the end-all be-all, because the leopard is also shown as the great water being, right? Known in the sky as you know, the cosmic leopard, or the leopard of mystery in the Igbo tradition, right? You also have the idea of the Ba in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptian symbol of the Ba is the bird with the human head, for the most part, right? If you look up Ba, that's what you're going to get. But the Ba is also the synonym for the word leopard in ancient Egyptian society, or Kemet society, right? So the leopard is the Ba that goes to heaven. The Ba in heaven associated with water. It is the thing that meets the Ka on earth, the dryness. So that makes the Ba the liquid, right? The way I'm going to explain it is that the Ba is the energy of the Ka, which is the consciousness, right? In African traditions, people what you see as a person is actually a multitude of systems, right? People come into the world dismantled like Osiris. And the goal of the spiritualist, the hunter, what the hunter is hunting for is remembrance, right? Remembering all of these dismembered body parts, these metaphysical body parts that has been destroyed or not destroyed, but thrown amongst the universe by the idea of duality Set, right? Or Seth, right? The idea of the limiting factor of consciousness, right? The two-lobed, two-hemisphere brain, right? Which is also our physical energy and strength, right? Set, as always, is not necessarily a bad concept, just like all things in African society. And Set is also associated with the leopard, right? So you flay that leopard and you put it on your own self. And that's one of the most amazing things about Africa. When people try to say that Africa is some kind of irreconcilable multitude of cultures, why do all of these cultures have the same imagery of wearing a leopard's ass on your ass, right? Tying a leopard's flesh around your body as a symbol for being a spiritual master. When you look in ancient Egypt, you have the Sem priest. They're also called something else, the Ayuntef priest. Hopefully I said that right. Maybe I'll write that up on the video. But this priest is the body of consciousness trying to lift up their dead father, Osiris, the symbol of the Ka, right? The symbol of the pillar. That's what Ayuntef means, pillar. The Ayuntef priest, the Sem priest, lifts the pillar, which is the dead body of Osiris, which is the Ka. And what is it doing? It needs to raise it up to reach the Ba, which is the bird with the human head, which is also the leopard skin that the priest is wearing, making the priest the physical symbol of the Ka. Because I didn't mention this, the Ka is representing as a little human, right? The little person inside of you is the Muntu, right? The little being of consciousness that lives within us all, that Africans represent as a little person, right? So the Ka is the pillar, the Ka is dead Osiris, but the Ka is also the physical image of the priest. The priest dressed in the leopard skin is saying it is dripped and draped in the Ba of the universe, representing the leopard, right? All of this, just using little stories and metaphors to help people understand what the Leopard Society is all about. The Leopard Society is a society of men and women, gender neutral people, all people, who have mastered the ways of remembering, right? They have collected all of their body parts, all of their limbs, as would be, described in ancient Egyptian mythology, and they have made themselves whole. And now they're able to teach others their ways while they, walk around and being one with the universe. So I'm certainly not at the perfected sage mode yet, but hopefully one day, and hopefully I'll learn on this channel and we can learn together. So yeah, that's basically it for me. Hopefully I explained myself adequately. I know I probably bugged out on this nature stuff a little too much, but my first, of course, major goal is to just survive the year. If I make it to August 2022, that's a major victory for me. Because I can admit I'm a great starter, I'm a great planner, but I'm not a great follow througher. So I'm really just wanting to do this podcast thing. Partially because, I don't have too many hobbies, right? I mean, there's not too much I do besides read, eat, and go to work. So this would be a great, outlet for me to meet people of like mind, meet people of different mind, and, both get out of my comfort zone while staying in my lane, if you understand what I'm trying to say, right? I'm trying to put my years of study into practice and to get more study under my belt. I'm a firm believer in learning from other people's lives, mistakes, so on and so forth. Not necessarily mistakes, but every book I read, I find that to be like me incorporating another person's life within my own life, right? Another person's understanding within my own understanding. And so, I guess I'm going to try to streamline the process by bringing as many people and different ideas into my life as possible, and seeing where that takes me and the growth or lack thereof, who knows, of this idea of this version of the Leopard Society. This version of the Leopard Society, like all leopard societies, shrinks as well as grows and expands, right? I'm always interested in collaboration with people taking what they need and leaving, right? That's always been the case in my life. People come, stay a while, and go. That's probably the way of the world, really. And so, in terms of scholarship, in terms of practicing and doing internal work, I'm all interested in seeing what other people have to give and what I can give in turn. So basically, yeah, this is just a long ramble on what my own path is, and no matter how long this project may be, this will be a journey of I guess, my path and whoever decides to walk the path with me and where we end up, right? And I guess there's no real purpose to get anywhere. I haven't decided absolutely where I want the Leopard Society to take me, but I do know that I want to go somewhere, right? This world is very toxic, and probably it's been that way for a very, very long time. But I'm not necessarily interested in staying in the boundaries of the status quo, right? I tend to go against the grain, and I guess everybody thinks they do that. I guess I'm I guess I'm following the crowd of being nonconformist. But yeah, in terms of the types of people we will have on this show, it will probably be, for the most part, especially for the next 2 years while I'm writing and trying to get my book published, it will be people of a more spiritual persuasion, or at least academically understanding spiritual realities of other cultures. But I am a person who is interested in, the people who control and run the world, the so-called power elite. And I have a background in political science. That's my political science and history are my educational backgrounds in terms of academia. So I will very likely not turn, but incorporate various political commentators as well. And my own politics for folks who are interested in finding out now if they're going to stick around. Um, I am an left-leaning libertarian, let's call it. Um, so take that for what it's worth. I'm not fond of empire, hegemony, war, poverty, um, money. Not fond of the idea of money, the fact that people need something that is literally uh, uh, just imaginary nonsense to survive. Like we need money, which is just paper and coin and pieces of metal and liquidized rock made into a circle. Um, so that's a little bit about me. So if you think money is real, you probably want to go away. Um, if you're not fond of African centered values and ideas, probably want to go away. If you think that, borders are real, probably want to go away. So, yeah, those are some of the things that I will definitely be highlighting as values of my own. And not necessarily, I mean, only representing me, of course. People who come into the various leper societies of the world have various agendas, right? The leper society is something that has always had to deal with multiple ways of thinking and being. It both being, a transcendental way of communing with the truth, whatever you depict it as. And then you have some leper societies that went the other way, became extremely materialist, actually participated in the transatlantic slave trade, right? Those are two realities that are definitely real, and I will definitely be talking about, in the future, and in my book. So, once again, I kind of like the extreme polarities of the idea of the various leper societies, right? Because you have the Sem priests over in Egypt, just trying to raise up their father, right? While you have, people who are like, hey, I got this wisdom, I got this, piece of wisdom, a piece of knowledge, should I say. And, a person with a little knowledge is rather dangerous. I know how to make a lot of money now. I know how to get a lot of extreme wealth by manipulating certain aspects of reality. I'm going to make my own leper society about that. You over there meditating and rubbing ointments and oils and trying to uh, become perfect. I'm going to let y'all have that. But thank you for that piece of knowledge that I was able to wrest from you, right? Wrestle away. So that just shows you that this truth and this reality, it has a lot of different utilities, right? It can be utilized for many things. And I personally think that's glorious, but at the same time, it led to what we are now experiencing, both the good and the bad, right? So hopefully what we learn, we put it to good use for ourselves, good use for our world, and the worlds that permeate our world. And okay, that seems to be good on take two.